Namaste. Hi, everyone. I hope you're well. This is 8 o'clock in the morning in Los Angeles and in the evening in Copenhagen, Denmark, where I'll be talking to Julia, known as Warrior Princess. She's originally from Netherlands, I mean Germany, but now she teaches yoga, but very excited that she is joining Yoga Gives Back's ambassador. And I'd love to know what her yoga journey is all about and how she is doing. Hi, nice to meet you, Julia.
Hi,
Namaste.
can you hear me okay?
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it, that we can talk like this? What
Yes.
time is it there in Copenhagen?
It's 5 p.m.
5 p.m. Okay. Thank you so much for being available.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. So,
Yes.
our common friend Sally Parks, who also joined our Yoga Gives Back ambassador from England this year, she introduced us to you as a very passionate, yoga teacher who would share our passion to give back to India and help women and children. But what motivated you and inspired you to decide to join Yoga Gives Back as an ambassador?
Well, thanks for asking that. I think it's so important that we consider what we do with our energy, and money is part of an energy exchange. And I think and as a society as a whole, we tend to invest into things we don't really need. And sometimes it's good to, sorry, I have like a group of biking kids passing by. I'm not sure if you hear them.
That's all right.
But basically what I'm trying to say is that we consume things we don't really need. And when we get more awareness about what we can do actually good with our money, and even if it's just so small, and in other parts of the world, it can have such a big impact. And I really like your slogan when you say, "Of the cost of one class, we can change a life." And just buying maybe that little extra thing we don't really need at home, instead of investing it into a life on the other side of the world, is just so powerful. And that's what yoga is about, to empower each other.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's when I came across what you guys do. I thought it was just so beautiful, and it's such an important work also to empower people. And that's what I can see with Yoga Gives Back. It's not just like, here's the money, but like, okay, you invest into education, helping women to found their own businesses with these microloans. And I was like, this is so much cool stuff you guys do, and I would love to help you with that.
Yeah, I'm so glad because you're originally from Germany and you're in Denmark. We'd love to have more people joining from your side of the world, Northern Europe and Germany also. So what you just shared is so important and really, aligns with basically what we believe, right? Where did that come from? Did it start feeling more strong, like about the energy exchange and the money and the value of the money that you can use for other better purposes and for yourselves only? These things, where did you get that from? How did it come to you?
Yeah, I think it really started with my yoga journey, because I've been working in big corporations and consultancy and sales, and had like this classic career path, coming from a middle-class family with a mom alone taking care, and she was working so much, and my whole education was like, you have to go to university, you have to make money to provide for yourself, and you kind of get sucked into that world of like, okay, I'm a better person if I make more money. And especially in Germany, like it's a very masculine culture, the hierarchy levels are very high. So yeah, I got really sucked into that. And at one point my life kind of changed when I got into this whole idea that there's something else than money. And there's something bigger than just ourselves. It came really with this, what do I need? Do I need all this stuff? Can I not have a small apartment and give back? And even I started teaching, I was looking for charities, and I was like, I want to support a charity that works with yoga. And I couldn't find anything in the north, and there's this small project in South Africa I'm supporting, and now I know about you guys. It's just so nice to give something back in a community for what your heart burns.
Yeah.
You know, because there's a lot of charities out there, but it's also nice to give back to something that gives me so much.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I really appreciate everything you said, because that really is what we believe and what we've been doing 16 years now. But you said, you know, I think I hear more and more like young women like you who have worked in a corporate, like a career track, like crazy for so many years. And then maybe men too, they realize what's going on with my life, right? And then a lot of people seem to step into yoga and realize, like you did, there is something more important, or like that. Do you feel happier now than before?
Like, I always consider myself a happy kid. I came as a quite positive person to this planet, but I can notice that I have more focus on sharing that happiness. Sharing what yoga gave me to my students, but now I'm also training other teachers so they can give on the magic, I like to call it, the magic yoga provides us. I definitely feel more content, and I feel more in ease that I know I can make a difference.
Yeah.
And, you know, when we talk about this whole thing about career, and I work also still in corporate and teach yoga there, but giving people purpose is such a powerful step on self-realization. And I found my purpose with yoga. And that is really part of key also to our happiness. And I'm happy and I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to work in this field. Like, I'm a full-time teacher, and I know it's not easy. So even though there comes other stress factors if you're self-employed, and you know, I started my business and had 2 years of pandemic, and you couldn't touch or see any people. Right? So, but in general, I know why I'm doing it, and I think that is such a how to say, it's rare. A lot of people don't have that, and I hear that a lot on LinkedIn, and yeah, when I go to the corporation, that it's inspiring, and I was like, yeah, I want to inspire people. I want to not only give back to people who are not as fortunate as us, but also how can we help other people to find their purpose through yoga, maybe.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I can hear your passion and how, you know, I can see on your website, if anybody's interested, to check out warriorprincessyoga.com. I have lots of questions. So one question is, where did the warrior princess come from, your name? And also, how did you survive? You said you started your business during COVID, right? Pandemic. How did you survive and come out of it now?
So let's talk about Warrior Princess Yoga first. I have to give the credit to a friend. He came up with the name, but also knowing me, I've always been, as you said, I'm quite passionate. If I believe in something, I get stuff done. And you know, there's a bit of this warrior aspect, but I also I like to embrace the feminine and work with these types of energies as well. So that's a bit of the princess. And then, you know, when I was starting my yoga business, it didn't really had so much of a deeper meaning. I know it resonated. It's like, yeah, that's it. But now I also see really the yin and the yang in it. That we all have a bit of a warrior, and we all have a bit of this cliche princess within us that is vulnerable and that needs the savior. And then we have this warrior who can be strong, and they can be together, existing in harmony within ourselves in one person. So it has this yin and yang, this Ida Pingala energy to it. So that became clear to me much later in my journey. And when I got the logo, I mean, maybe you can see it on my microphone, this moon. And it also symbolizes the sun, because has also again these two energies of lunar and solar. So and it's all about balance. And that was what yoga really taught me. It's that we can stay in balance with our lives, right? So the other question about well, technically I started a bit before COVID with my yoga business. So I've been working in these corporations, and from one day to the other, I lost my job. And it was a crazy thing for me because I had the headhunters asking me to work for big companies, and I got good money. And then without a warning, I lost my job. And I was like, whoa, what's going on now? What am I doing with my life? And I just moved to Denmark 2 years ago, and I don't know anyone here. I have no social security because, it works a bit different. Like, I'm an immigrant, right? So then I had a trip to Thailand planned with my friend, and there was a teacher training starting on the day of our planned return flight. And I was like, you know what? I become a yoga teacher now.
Wow.
So I was like, I had this idea. I was like, you know what? I just do it. Let's do it. So I signed up for the teacher training. Instead of 2 weeks for holiday, I stayed 2 months in Thailand. And when I came home, I was in Denmark. I still had a bit of savings. And I walked into the studios and said, like, I'm a yoga teacher now. I want to teach. Well, they looked at me bit irritated. It's like, who are you? What do you want? You don't speak Danish? And I'm like, no, but I can figure it out. And then I opened my own studio 2 weeks before the lockdown.
Oh,
So
wow.
that was a bit of a bad timing. But I moved online, and luckily I had already a few students, and I trusted that I need to keep on going. I trusted that the universe would provide, and I worked part-time as a model, and I had actually quite a few model jobs in that time, so you never know when they're coming, so they helped me to pay my rent, and so I could keep on staying a full-time teacher, so I didn't have to go back to the corporate world.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah, it was a lucky game, I would say. I think there was a lot of luck in it that I managed, but I had never stopped working. I was
Yeah.
like, I want to do this.
Well, you said you're a warrior.
Exactly.
You know, it sounds like it wasn't easy. You lost your job and you didn't know what to do in a different country,
Hmm.
different language, different system. So, are you planning to stay in Denmark?
Um, I don't know yet. I have a partner here now and a bit more settled. I could see myself moving a little bit further up north to
Oh,
Norway.
wow.
I,
It's
I
so
like the
nice.
nature.
Yeah, it's so nice in Europe. You can move around so much, and every place is different. I love it. So civilized. Many things are so civilized. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm happy that if you go to Norway, take YGB with you.
Yes.
Yeah, and tell us, thank you for sharing your journey like that. And just one more thing I want to know is like, so when you hit like this very difficult thing, you suddenly lost a job, you didn't know what to do. What do you think makes you keep going? Where does your strength come from?
Hmm. I think my strength comes from my students. Um, like it's just so powerful, and maybe they don't even know, but like when I see them coming out of a class feeling a little bit lighter, when their faces are just a bit softer and their posture is just a bit more confident. Um, and even I get sometimes, I wrote a newsletter yesterday, and a couple of people texted me on Instagram and said like, oh, this was so touching, it was so beautiful. These small messages, they make all the difference.
Wow.
And that keeps me going because I genuinely believe that the world would be a better place if everybody would do yoga, and what form that is. You know, like for me, yoga is not only asana, it has everything, the yamas, the niyamas. Like when we really apply the system, and if everybody just does and knows a little, right? It's not that we have to do it, but just like knowing about it, and then, you know, it starts coming with it. We can change the world to better.
Yeah.
And having that, you know, what I mentioned in the beginning, that purpose, I think that really keeps me going, and the trust that, you know, when we talk about karma, I know I'm not doing it to get something in return, right? That's like the idea, but I still feel supported by the universe in the craziest ways. You know, like it's not that it comes in form of a bigger paycheck. Sometimes you just get offered some help or something for free, or, you know, like meet the right people, like talking to you now, and having opportunity to give back to people who are not as fortunate financially or in terms of education. I think it all aligns, and the more I practice myself, the more I share my teachings, I notice the more I get back from the universe.
Yeah, that's beautifully said. And it totally resonates in my heart too, because really, you know, like if we weren't for yoga, you and I would have never met, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And thanks to the technology like this too, but Yoga Gives Back's work also, like, you know, brings people like you and people like sisters and brothers from around the world who share really what you just said, you know, like really has a beautiful mind and thinking about how to make this world a better place, make it a little more even playing field, right? Instead of having just so much to yourself. And yeah, I hope we'll meet sometime in person, but I've experienced this so many times. Like I'm so filled with joy to know you and hear your vision and your, you know, conviction for your, you know, to make this world a better place with yoga. I totally agree. Yeah, so would you share, you joined the ambassador team now and you are already spearheading fundraiser. Tell us about that.
Yes, so next week, here on Instagram, we will have an online session, and then it's going to be a feel-good class. So in my yoga journey, I explored a lot of different fields and different styles of yoga. And the more I dive deep and work more on personal levels, I noticed we need to make yoga in the West more accessible. It's like, even when I think about it, I didn't want to go to yoga. It's like, I don't fit in there. And I'm a white female person. And imagining, you know, people who are not looking like the Lululemon models, no, like I have Lululemon pants, no offense, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, so also getting men involved, and yes, people with different abilities, and it's so important for me because it can scare people away from something that's so beautiful and so profoundly life-changing. So I've done a lot of work in making yoga accessible. So we will just do a class that feels good,
Yeah.
so that everybody can
Yeah.
join.
Yeah, that's wonderful. What time will it be?
It will be 6 p.m. my time, so
Yeah.
that's 10 a.m. your
Okay.
time. So we're
And
going to
that,
do an hour
yeah,
class.
1 hour class on your IG account, and that will be June 4th, right?
No, June 6th.
June 6th. Okay, sorry. So when
The
I
6,
post,
6 at 6.
okay, that's right. So that's right, 666. It's easy to remember. So when I post this again, I will post this so people can join. And
Yes.
if I can, I would love to join too.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
And I
that's
will let everybody know who's joining, how they can donate, and 100% of what people send my way I will give back to you guys.
yeah. And you know,
So
like we have, I think I shared, but our ambassador Harmony and advisor Elena Brower are doing 100% match fundraiser by doTERRA, essential oil company. So if you can send all the donation there, it
yes,
will be doubled twice, you
I will
know.
do that,
Yeah, I'll send you the link too.
definitely.
But yeah, thanks so much. Finally, would you like to share any upcoming events or not YGB thing, but you know, your own yoga world and business. Anything you want to share?
Oh, that's very kind for offering. I'm actually been working the whole day on my office yoga teacher training. So, coming from the corporate world and having that idea of helping people with stress as well. So I developed a 30-hour yoga teacher training for the office. So this will be coming up soon as an online training. So it can be learned around the world. It's chair-based. So it's the practice will be in seated or standing. So we can really bring it into offices. And I'm very passionate about that project.
Yeah.
So if people are interested, they should just send me their email address, sign them up for the newsletter, and then they find out when it's live. I'm so excited.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's really, like you said, so many people in the office can benefit from a little bit of yoga.
Yes, and even if they do it for themselves or like teach their co-workers, there's, when I'm also very passionate about breathing, and when I look into like how bad posture impacts the breath, and everybody wants to be focused, but they can't be productive because the whole body systems is working against them.
Yeah.
So, making it accessible, and it doesn't have to be long. The classes are 25 to 30 minutes.
Great.
So you can really sneak it into the day. And I teach it live here in Copenhagen in some corporations. And, I can't be everywhere. So
Yeah.
I want to help people to share that in their companies as well. So I'm doing
Yeah.
the teacher training online now as well.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Okay, so I'm gonna link this information is all on your warriorprincessyoga.com, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna put that link so everybody from around the world can benefit from Julia's passionate and loving approach to yoga and share the benefit to everyone, which I really appreciate. And thanks again for joining YGB and really supporting our, this is actually the first day of our global campaign, Global Gathering for India campaign, just starting today. So it was so nice to talk to you and get some energy from you.
Well, it was an honor to open this campaign with you today and meet you. And my heart is filled with love and joy, and I hope we can spread this together. And a lot of people join my class next week for you guys.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to stay in touch and see you guys soon.
Yeah, thanks so much. Thank you everyone for joining. Namaste. Have a good evening. Thank you. Bye.